Pretty boring race. Don't think there's anything to talk about. How's it going, guys? I recorded something at 2 o'clock today, okay? So you might see parts of that in this video. I'm going to have to do it in the post-editing and stuff, but just giving you a heads up. I'm doing this after the race ended, but at 2 o'clock, just in case the race was called, I did record a race review kind of for that result and that kind of race. But you know, some of the opinions I had, like let's say like the big wreck with 20 laps to go, that might with the rain, that will be from what I recorded at 2 o'clock. So let's go. Finally, the Coke Zero 400, Coke Zero Sugar 400. Do they call it Coke Zero Sugar 400? No, I just call it the Coke Zero 400, or I like to still call it the Pepsi 400. But you know, it is what it is. Sponsorships. Now, I do want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members, as always, for supporting the channel. You guys are the absolute best, and thank you guys so much, as always. And I also do want to say I'm very happy that I am recording this, if you guys do watch it, at 2 o'clock instead of whenever the race could have ended, like right after, because I was ticked off. I was very angry. I'm calm now, able to see it a little bit more clear, see exactly what happened. And so we will talk about that. But first, let's start with the positives. And let's talk about the actual race, because that is what the race review is at Daytona. The playoff race. Two guys we were really looking at, Blaney and Truex. The situation changed because Kurt Busch is now out of the playoffs due to his concussion. So instead of basically one getting in, one going out, or possibly both going out, they were both in at the start of the race. And they both ended up with trouble. They both ended up in wrecks. Truex was involved in a wreck a little bit later on in the race, but Blaney was involved early on and had the heavier damage. I was actually very surprised that Blaney was able to continue because the right front tire was absolutely destroyed. So credit to the car for even, you know, and the team for being able to repair that thing. They weren't fast. They weren't able to keep up with the pack. They were going multiple laps down, but credit. And overall, guys, I think the racing was really good. And here's what I mean by that. This is the style of plate racing I do kind of like, in terms of I don't think it's too aggressive. It really depends on the drivers. Later in the race, it all kind of went to crap once everyone started racing like it was the last lap with 50 to go. So, and that's not something NASCAR can control. I'm not going to blame them for that or anything like that. That's not their fault. It's just, you know, drivers thought it was raining and they just started doing some really crazy moves. But even then, I thought everyone was pretty respectable with the racing, and everyone kind of knew what to do. The entire first stage, Chase Elliott and Joey Logano were working together, which was just weird. But one thing I do like about this plate package, guys, I can see like who stands out in plate racing. Like, you can visually see by the moves they make and how they control their car, like who's really good at it. You know, right off the bat, you saw Elliott, Logano, Denny Hamlin as well. Those guys are just so controlled and good with plate racing. I would throw in Brad Keselowski too, but you know, he doesn't have the car anymore. He used to have the car. He doesn't have the car anymore. And so those guys are just so good at plate racing, and it's kind of like a joy to watch them, honestly. Like, just watch them race, because they race so differently to everyone else. Like, Logano is so aggressive, right? But he is able to like kind of control it a little bit. Now, he does end up wrecking more often than not in these races, but you know, still, just all honestly really solid racing overall. And it was all going to come down towards the end to see who would make the playoffs. And with Truex and Blaney both getting involved in wrecks, it looks like at the moment that both would get in, but it was kind of like who's going to get in front in case a new winner happens, right? So with Blaney's incident, he was kind of screwed, but then Truex had to make sure he had a decent finish to stay ahead of Blaney in the points, because Truex also got really good stage points in stage 2. He got second place in stage 2, so he got 9 points. He got, I think, around probably 4 points in stage 1, so he had a good amount of points. And so you get to the end of the race, and the weather's coming. And it's Florida, guys. I've lived in Florida my whole life. Central Florida, South Florida, it's kind of all the same. the reason why this race started at 10 a.m. and I'm just explaining this to you guys if you haven't lived in Florida and you don't understand why. I don't know if it's different in the rest of the I'm sure it is actually, that it's different in the rest of the country, that this doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't, it's predictable, but it's also unpredictable. That's kind of Florida weather. So like, it's not going to rain in the morning, but once the afternoon comes around, the humidity kicks up, the storms pop up, and it's gonna pop up. And in the summer especially, the storms don't move, so it pops up and it builds and it builds and it builds, but they don't move. They either like dissipate or they kind of just sit in place. For the last 40 laps, essentially, drivers, teams, and everyone could see rain on the beach, which is like a mile and a half away from the track, or and that's fine because it doesn't move, right? So you just see it, you see the dark clouds, you can literally see the rain falling from the sky in the distance, but it doesn't move. Okay, so that threat causes everyone to go ballistic in terms of the drivers. They make moves that they shouldn't make, and because this is a playoff cutoff race, you have 13 drivers essentially trying to win. So you have 13 drivers doing kamikaze nonsense trying to win, making any move possible, any move necessary in order to win. No one's thinking about points. And we all talk about this style of racing. NASCAR needs to do something, yada yada yada. I personally, during these races, when the drivers are controlled, and they know that there's like some consequence, the racing's really good, but it's also like controlled, like what I said. But you throw in the chaos factor of you have to win in a cutoff race, and you have rain, possibly hitting at any moment, so you have to try and get to the lead with 50 to go and act like it's only 2 to go. There's going to be wrecks. There's no way around it. There is literally no way around it. There's going to be wrecks and there's going to be crashes. But even with all that situation, I still thought it was really good racing. And we didn't really have a big one. There were big wrecks, but my worry about these races is always I don't want the big one with the 15, 20 cars early in the race because it takes out the energy from the pack. That didn't happen today. It was more like a 2, 3, 4 car wreck, and then maybe another 3 car wreck, and maybe a lot of good wreck avoidance from everyone. This is what we're gonna talk about for a long time, guys. And yeah, so I don't even know what to say. There's a tweet on Twitter from I want to give him credit here, Francisco Bacalao. He tweeted at Bob Pockris and everyone. He was at the track, and he said, and you can see it on the camera, that it was raining coming out of turn 2. So the cars are coming out of turn 2, the lap before they get to turn 1, and he says it's raining, and you can see it on the camera that he's recording. You can see the raindrops. So it was raining. The drivers didn't know that because they were on the backstretch. But the spotters and NASCAR should have known. The officials on pit road, the people in their beautiful AC conditioned unit just sitting there and eating hot dogs, the race officials should have known that it was raining for a solid 35 to 40 seconds. Because off of turn 2, that's when the rain started. Then they come down the front straightaway and it's still raining. And then they get to turn 1. And everyone dies. Literally the whole field dies. Denny Hamlin, everyone. They all just go in there, 2001 All-Star Race vibes, dead. Boom. Bye-bye. Whole field wrecks, Austin Dillon comes around. We'll talk about Austin Dillon in a second. But and I'm calm now, but I was so angry when I saw this. Because, and to be fair, when it happened live, I didn't know it was raining. I just thought someone made contact. I don't remember the camera angle they used, but I thought someone got hooked at the front. And then I looked at the replay, and, it took the NBC guys actually 2 replays to realize it. But on the first replay, I just saw Denny Hamlin just lose it. And then, all these cars lose it at the same time. And I was like, uh-oh, it must have been raining. And so that happened. And then you had the drivers coming on the radio saying it was raining a lap before. I have friends at the track that I talked to that said it was raining the lap before. And that's what made me mad. Because if you had 30 to 35 seconds to make a decision to throw out a caution, because all you have to do is press a button, essentially, is just to throw out the yellow, and they didn't want to do it. Now, whoever was responsible for that, I don't know. I don't know who makes that decision of calling the caution or when it has to rain. But NASCAR has officials around the track. They have track spotters and stuff that should have told them. If a fan in the stands coming out of turn 2, the lap before, can say it's raining, then everyone who's working for NASCAR should know it's raining, and you should know how much rain is enough for the track to lose it. So, you know, what Scott Miller said, the vice president of competition, I don't care. Like, honestly, I don't care. I don't hate the guy. I'm just saying, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Point is, this shouldn't happen. I don't want to hear explanations. We couldn't do anything differently. No, I don't care. This shouldn't happen. If you have fans putting out videos saying it's raining 30 seconds before the actual wreck happens, then you need to make sure your drivers are safe and bring out the caution. I mean, it's raining. This isn't like a green-white checkered decision on the final lap and you have to decide whether it's a caution or not, right? It's not like that. It's simple. It's a matter of safety. I literally made a video this past week talking about safety in NASCAR. It has nothing to do with officiating. It had to do with the cars. But this is safety. If it's raining and you can see it's raining, whether it be an official or someone has to communicate to race control in the tower, and you have 30 seconds to do so. Don't tell me 30 seconds isn't enough. It's enough. You gotta make the decision. Going 200 miles per hour, for Jesus Christ's sakes. Like literally, we saw drivers going 200 miles per hour head into a corner into a death trap. That's unacceptable. And whether you like it or not, that clip will go viral on Twitter of that wreck. Because, you know, it's 20 cars losing it. It's incredible, right? Wow. Big wreck. Always goes viral on Twitter and Instagram, and Sports Center will talk about it, and everyone. National media, whatever. USA Today, who cares? Right? They'll talk about it. But they won't understand the context around it. All they're going to know is this. They're going to know, you know, at Daytona, there was a NASCAR race, and the drivers drove into rain, and they all wrecked. That's the context they're going to know. They're not going to paint the full story for you. There's going to be a simple, it was raining, and they wrecked. And the hundreds of thousands to millions of people that see that news story or see that clip or whatever, who don't usually watch NASCAR, or maybe, you know, might want to give it a chance, or a casual fan who missed out on it because he had to go do something so he didn't watch the race, is going to see that clip and then be like, wow, this is an absolute joke. That's why it can't happen again. It can't happen because these guys now think that the sport's a joke. It can't happen because you have Denny Hamlin losing control and hitting the wall at 190 miles per hour, and then everyone piles in head on. Stenhouse is almost flipping. This is insanely dangerous because the drivers don't even know what's going on. They're just going into a corner at 190 and they all lose it. It's like the most dangerous thing you could have. They all lose it. It's actually lucky it wasn't worse. We're kind of lucky that for now it seems like no one's gotten hurt. It can't happen. I don't care what the excuse is. We couldn't have done any better. You know, it happened so quick. No. You gotta take responsibility, because that's awful what happened today. It's a joke. Again, I'm not really angry anymore. I was angry. I understand NASCAR's position. Like, I understand when you have to make that call, how quick you have to make sure that you're making the right call. Because if it is raining, you're deciding the race likely at that point, right? So you gotta be very sure about it. But I still believe 30 seconds is enough. And with that clip from the fan, it's proof that it, you know, even on the front stretch, again, on the back stretch it's not raining, but on the front stretch where all the officials are and everyone, they should know it's raining. So they gotta be careful. I don't know. It just, and this happened at New Hampshire last year as well. It's just, I don't know. The mistakes like this can't happen. Like, this isn't Formula One. You can't race in rain. You're going 200 miles per hour. Like, any bit of moisture on the track and you're gonna lose the car. Like, it's just unacceptable. And honestly, there are a lot of discussions that have to come out of this, honestly. Like, should Daytona be the cutoff race? It's not even for this type of thing. Like, even when they moved Daytona to August, again, as someone who's lived in Florida my whole life, it's raining right now. It rains every day, every night in Florida in August, especially Central Florida and like where Daytona is. Every day. I haven't been able to take my dog to the dog park in 11 days because every day at 7 o'clock it's raining. So why would you want to put the NASCAR race in late August in Daytona? It was fine on July 4th. Yes, you still battle rain in the summer in Daytona in July. I understand that, but I promise you it's not as bad as late August, early September. I promise you that. It's not as bad. Early July, late June is actually nowhere near as bad. And at least, yeah, you'll still have rain delays and stuff, but at least you have a better chance of getting the race in. And have it being the cutoff race. I get the entertainment. You know, I was leading up to this race. I was really excited for Daytona. I was like, wow, this is incredible. You got to win and you're in. wow, so entertaining. And then you actually watch it and you realize, like, is it worth it? Like, you can really just do this race and, you know, a little bit earlier and have it be just as exciting, but not as chaotic. You know what I mean? Maybe they want it to be chaotic. I don't know, but I think some conversations have to be had around the Daytona race. You moved the tradition from the July 4th race at Daytona. I always loved that tradition. I get traditions change, but that one felt very unnecessary. And you just moved the race to, in my opinion, for two reasons, a worse spot. Worse because you can usually never run it at night. It's very difficult when the weather's so bad every year. And second, you've made the intensity and the danger higher, just because it's the final race before the playoffs. If it was race number 18, like it used to be, you still have 7 other chances, you know, or not 8 other chances, whatever it is, to go win at another track. This is your final chance. So people are going to make really insane decisions. Now, for NASCAR, that might be what they want. But, I mean, sometimes it's like, do you really want it to be like that? I don't know. It's just, because you can't have it both ways. You can't have Daytona be the cutoff to the chase, or to cut off to the playoffs, and, you know, not have it in late August. This is when the playoffs are about to start. It will always be late August. So, like, you got to make a decision. Do you want to turn it into a morning race every year? I don't know, because it is what it is. But it's finally over. Scheduled to start Saturday night and Sunday afternoon after multiple rain delays and mistakes and chaos. And basically, the video I recorded before also still counts because the winner didn't change. The winner didn't change, but who got eliminated did. So what changed from that? You know, if the race was called at, you know, at 20 to go versus finishing it out, one change happened. Instead of Ryan Blaney missing the playoffs, Martin Truex Jr. missed the playoffs, and that was a pretty big deal. The last 20 laps was so weird because the cars were just weird. Listen, okay, all I'm saying is when Cody Ware's restarting in 3rd, okay, something has gone severely wrong in the race. All right, that's all I'm saying. So you had Cody Ware, Landon Castle, Noah Gragson in the 62, BJ McLeod was running in the top 10. Truex had no left front and had a parachute as a car. The only 2 non-damaged cars that actually had speed, because I don't count like BJ McLeod and Cody Ware and maybe Landon Castle, maybe, but Landon Castle didn't have a lot of speed either. There were 2 guys, Austin Cindric and Austin Dillon. One of those 2 guys looked like they were going to win. Tyler Reddick had damage. I said non-damaged cars. He had speed, but he had damage. So Tyler Reddick was running in there as well. But the end of the race was kind of anticlimactic. It was just really, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was really weird because there were no cars with any with any speed. It's what these plate races are. It's survival of the fittest. You just, you know, survive, and, you know, at the end, whatever happens, happens. But the back markers didn't have enough speed. It was Cindric and Dillon, and, you know, like I said, things didn't really change during the rain delay. Austin Dillon was going to win during the rain delay. Austin Dillon still won when the race ended. The only thing that I have a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth is how he did it. I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking entering turn 1, but he just ran into Cindric on the entry of the corner and knocked him sideways. So yeah, I don't really know what he was trying to do, because guys were pushing all day long, including Austin Dillon. He knows how to push. So why would he knock Cindric like that on entry into the corner and almost wreck him? Kind of doesn't make sense. That's my only issue with it. I mean, congratulations, Austin Dillon, well-deserved winner, but I was not very pleased with how he did that, and it kind of messed everything up. It got Tyler Reddick in 2nd, and then the guys behind him, you know, like I said, Noah Gragson, Landon Castle, Cindric trying to come back, but had no help and no teammates, and no energy to get past 2 RCR cars. And so that was that. And poor Martin Truex Jr. had no speed, so he just lost points. Cole Custer had a blown tire, so Blaney was able to get that point. Eric Jones went out of the race. Blaney was able to get that point. plus the other like 10 guys that went out during the red flag incident. So he got all those points. So Blaney ends up getting back in and gets 3 points ahead, which means instead of Blaney getting eliminated, it is Truex who gets eliminated, and Austin Dillon still makes the playoffs. Now, I don't know. I just feel like I don't. It was a chaotic day. It was a chaotic day, a chaotic race. You know, it was good. It's just not ideal. Not ideal for TV ratings. Not ideal for the fans at the track. Not ideal for the drivers. Just mistakes and kind of. It's entertainment, but it's just a lot of nonsense. You know what I mean? I don't know. Does Daytona deserve to be the playoff race? I'm not entirely sure, but overall, guys, I still thought the race was really good. And again, I'm probably incorporating stuff I said from 2.5 hours ago into this post-race review, so it's probably all over the place. But you know, I just want the playoffs to start. You know, I kind of want to forget about this race. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't really know why though, but you know, a lot of issues. And to be fair, you know, objectively or subjectively, however you want to say it, I did want Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. to make the playoffs because I felt like they were both deserving. Austin Dillon's done nothing all season, and he makes the playoffs. So, you know, I don't like it is what it is. Like, you can't make excuses for Truex because you had all season to win a race. And this goes to Blaney as well. I said this, you know, a few hours ago as well. You had all season to win a race. And unfortunately, this is kind of the system we play in. So you got to win and you're in. And so 15 other guys won. So if you didn't, then, you know, you don't have enough points against the other guy. It is what it is. Both Truex and Blaney were really good consistently throughout the season with points. They scored really well all season. But they just weren't able to get a win. Now, you could think of races that Truex should have won. You could think of races that Blaney should have won. One of them gets in, one of them doesn't. But we can't, you know, as I think about it more and more, yeah, do I want Austin Dillon to be in the playoffs? No, not really. Nothing against him. It's just that he's not going to do anything. It's one of those irrelevant spots that it doesn't matter. He won't do anything. He will not compete for a championship. So who cares? I don't like one of the 16 spots going to someone like that. Like that isn't going to do anything. And the reason why they're in the playoffs is because they won at Daytona or Talladega. You know, that to me, whenever that happens, like when it happened with Michael McDowell, yes, I know he won the Daytona 500, so it's different. But like, even still, you enter the playoffs and it's just a name you can write off right then and there. And for me, that's, you know, it's why I've always said I like 12 drivers make the playoffs, because I want making the playoffs to be harder. But then this season kind of it was like a counter to that, because Truex and Blaney, two top guys, didn't make the playoffs. So maybe 16 is, or, you know, one of them didn't make the playoffs. So maybe 16 is the right number. But, you know, it is what it is. Overall, the end, it was a good race, just filled with chaos, filled with mayhem, filled with 2 different race reviews now that I have to merge together into one coherent race review. How in the hell I'm going to do that, I really don't know. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. I need to stop. I tweeted way too much today. You guys know I don't tweet as much. I tweeted way too much today. I gotta not do that. What? But let's move on. The playoffs start. It's still been a good season. So hopefully we can get some more competitive stuff going on. All right. See you guys later. Peace out.